Hi, I'm J. Elias O'Neill, Public Information Officer here for Chesterfield County. I'm sitting with Susan Beals. She is the chair of the Chesterfield County Electoral Board. Now, this is a board that oversees the processes as well as the actions related to all elections in the county. And she's here to answer a couple of questions that many of you have had related to the general election that we're seeing. So, Mrs. Beals, welcome and thank you for joining us today. I know I have a lot of questions, and so do several of our residents related to what's going on with the general election. Let's go ahead and get started with some of those questions. One of them being obviously that this is an early voting, historic type event here in the county. Tell us, first of all, when and where early voting is taking place.
So we have early voting occurring in 5 different locations across the county right now. Anyone can go and vote at the registrar's office at 9848 Laurie Road in Chesterfield. That is every weekday, 8:30 to 5. We also have 4 satellite locations at 4 libraries in Chesterfield County. Those are Edric-Matoaca, LaPrade, Meadowdale, and North Courthouse. Now their hours are slightly different. They're open from 10 to 8 p.m. daily. And then they're also going to be open the 2 Saturdays before the election from 9 to 5. That's Saturday, October 24th and Saturday, October 31st.
Excellent, excellent. So tell us, what type of acceptable forms of ID do people need to possibly bring with them to vote?
Sure thing. So when you go to vote, all you need is an ID. You don't need any extra paperwork. You don't have to request a ballot. The IDs that we accept are a photo ID, like a driver's license. You could also use your voter registration card. You could also use a utility bill or even a mortgage statement that has your name and address on it.
Awesome. Now, what about curbside voting? Will you guys be offering curbside voting this year?
We do. Curbside voting is available at all of our voting locations, and it's available for our citizens who are 65 and older or who have a disability. You don't have to leave your car to vote. Someone will come out and serve you right at your car, and you can vote from there.
That's a very convenient way of voting for those who can do that. Now, here's a question that we've gotten from several residents in Chesterfield County and also come up across the state as well. So let's say that I request an absentee ballot. I received it in the mail, but then I decided, I don't feel like filling out this absentee ballot. I want to go vote in person. Can I still do that?
Absolutely. We have had several citizens who've changed their mind. They decide they want to vote in person instead. So what we ask you to do is when you go to your early voting location, just bring that absentee ballot with you. And what we'll do is when you check in to vote, we'll go ahead and take that ballot from you. We will void it, and then we will give you an in-person ballot that you can mark and feed into the scanner yourself.
Very good. Now, let's follow that up with, I threw it in the trash, or I shredded it, or I lost it, or I spilled coffee on it. What can I do now? Can I still vote?
We still welcome you to come and vote. You are just going to have to do a little bit of extra paperwork for us, but that is no problem. We will make it work.
Now, if someone doesn't want to complete their absentee ballot, they just want to just go ahead and vote in person, they can still do that?
Absolutely, yes.
That's great. That's right. Can you give us an idea of how absentee ballots are being counted this year?
Sure thing. So absentee ballots are actually already being counted in Chesterfield County. We had over 40,000 people in the county request absentee by mail ballots. We've already received about 10,000 back, and there's no way that we could count all of those in one day. So on October 5th, we started what we call pre-processing of absentee ballots. We have a team that's inside the registrar's office made up of officers of election. We invite observers from the 2 political parties to come and oversee the process and observe that process. And each ballot is opened, it is checked into a poll book to make sure that person is registered to vote, and then it is scanned into a scanner, and that's how it is counted. So what we have is we will continue counting those ballots until election day, and then on election night, we will post a result of those counted ballots.
That's awesome. That's quite the process. Now, what can people do if they want to just drop their ballot off in person? Like, what's the procedure for that?
So we have drop-off locations at the 5 locations where you can early vote, so at the registrar's office and at the 4 libraries. So you can walk your ballot in and put it into a ballot bag yourself. However, if you want to just stay in your car, you could also hand it to an officer of election, and they will make sure that it gets to the right place for you as well.
Now, obviously, early voting is a historic thing here in the state of Virginia, and I think a lot of people, including some of our residents in Chesterfield County that are voters, are getting a little confused per se about whether we're even going to have elections on November 3rd. So can you clarify that, yes, people will be able to vote at the regular precincts? Yes, we will still have a general election on November 3rd.
Absolutely, yes. We will have a normal election day on November 3rd. Our polling places, all 80 of them will be open. Your normal polling place will be open that day. And you are welcome to come and vote anytime between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. that day.
That's great. Now, you cast your ballot. There are no do-overs, correct?
That's correct. You get to vote one time.
One and done.
Yes.
Okay. What measures, obviously we're still in the midst of a pandemic, so what measures are being put into place to keep voters as well as officers of election safe?
Right. So we ask that our voters wear a mask to vote. All of our officers of election, they will have masks on the entire time. We also have hand sanitizer available. When you go to mark your ballot, you will be given a new pen. That is a one-time use pen that you are welcome to take with you that day. And then we also are instituting plexiglass between our officers of election and our voters. So when you come up to vote, we would just ask that you put your ID up to the plexiglass so you don't even have to hand it to the officer of election and they can just see your information there.
That's great. And on top of the pin, you get to take home, you also get a sticker, right?
That's right. Everybody gets an I voted sticker.
All right. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Now, is there anything else that you want to let our voters here in Chesterfield County know about early voting, absentee ballot voting, as well as the general election coming up on November 3rd?
Sure. So you may see longer lines because of social distancing. We are asking our voters to stay 6 feet apart. And so the line may look a little bit longer when you get to your regular polling place, but don't let that dissuade you from hopping in line. We're finding that the lines are moving very quickly because people are spaced out more. So if you see a long line, don't let that deter you from voting.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Susan.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And also, Chesterfield County, don't forget there are now 5 locations open for early voting. It doesn't matter what precinct you live in, doesn't matter what part of the county you're in. Get out there and vote. For more information about voting in Chesterfield County, go to promotethevoteseafield.org. Early voting ends in Chesterfield County October 31st.